Okay, picture this. The car of the future. It's totally silent, super clean, has that instant kick when you hit the pedal, and is taking over our cities. Sounds pretty familiar, right? Well, what if I told you that the future I'm talking about is actually from the year 1900? So, let's play a little game. When do you think the first big boom for electric cars really kicked off? The last few years? Maybe back in 2010? Or how about the 90s? Well, get ready for this, because the answer is probably not what you're expecting. The answer is 1900. Yep, that's not a typo. At the turn of the 20th century, the electric car wasn't some weird little experiment. No, it was a major player, a dominant force on the roads. And let's look at the actual numbers, because this is where it gets really wild. In the year 1900, almost 40% of the cars in the US were electric. 38%. They actually outsold gasoline cars. So the real mystery here isn't why EVs are popular today. The real question is, what on earth happened to them? All right, so let's rewind the clock. In the early days of the automobile, if you lived in a city, the electric car was the undisputed king of the road. I mean, it wasn't even a fair fight. Just try to imagine what it was like back then. With an electric car, you just went. It was instant, it was quiet, and there were no disgusting fumes. Now compare that to a gasoline car. First, you had to risk breaking your arm with a dangerous hand crank just to get it started. Then it was incredibly loud and stank to high heaven. And steam cars? Forget a quick trip. You might have to wait up to 45 minutes just for the boiler to warm up. For city life, the choice was a no-brainer. The difference was so huge that electric taxis in London got this amazing nickname, hummingbirds, all because of the quiet little humming sound they made. Just imagine that, a gentle hum gliding down the street instead of the violent bang-bang clatter of a gasoline engine. And these weren't just novelties. EVs were part of the fabric of city life. You had whole fleets of electric taxis in places like New York and London. They were the go-to choice for the upper class just going for a pleasant drive. And here's a great marketing angle. Because they were so easy to use, no complicated gears to shift, no dangerous crank, they were pitched directly to women as these elegant, clean parlors on wheels. And you gotta love this little piece of trivia. The very first speeding ticket in US history, yep, it was given to the driver of an electric taxi. This guy was caught absolutely flying down a street in New York at, wait for it, 12 miles per hour. 12! But okay, don't let all this talk about quiet, elegant city cars fool you. Because for a little while there, electric cars weren't just convenient. They were, without a doubt, the fastest things on four wheels, the fastest machines on the entire planet. In the late 1890s, there was this epic rivalry that everybody was watching. It was a high-speed showdown between two guys. On one side, a Belgian engineer, a total daredevil named Camille Janozzi. On the other, a French count, Gaston de Chasseloup-Labat. And they both had one single goal, to be the fastest man alive. So to finally settle this thing, Janozzi built a car that looked like something out of a sci-fi novel. He called it La Jamais Content, which means the never satisfied. How cool is that? It was basically a bullet on wheels, the first car ever designed from the ground up just for breaking speed records, and it was made of this super advanced lightweight metal alloy. And then, on April 29, 1899, Janozzi climbed into his electric torpedo and did the impossible. He absolutely obliterated the 100-kilometer-per-hour barrier, hitting a speed of over 105. Think about that. The very first car in history to break that massive speed milestone was electric. Okay, let's recap. Electric cars are quiet, clean, easy to drive, and they're the fastest things around. They sound pretty unstoppable, right? Well, the world was about to change, and that change was going to reveal the electric car's one fatal flaw. See, there was this massive shift in how people thought about cars. They stopped being just for running errands around town and started becoming adventure machines. A whole new craze popped up for touring, taking these long drives out into the countryside, road tripping between cities, and for this brave new world of the open road, the electric car was completely unprepared. All of a sudden, everything that made EVs great in the city became a huge problem out in the country. First, range. You were lucky to get 50 to 80 miles on a charge. Second, infrastructure. Once you were outside the city, good luck finding a place to plug in. And third, those giant, heavy lead-acid batteries, they made the cars weigh a ton, which was an absolute nightmare on the bumpy, unpaved country roads of the era. So the stage was set for a showdown. The electric car was stuck in the city right when everyone started dreaming about the horizon. And the gasoline car, well, It was ready to land the knockout punch. The first punch was all about money. And man, it was a haymaker. Around 1912, an electric car would set you back about $1,750. But a Ford Model T, thanks to Henry Ford's game-changing assembly line, that cost just $650. All of a sudden, the average person could actually afford a car.
And then came the 1-2 punch. In 1912, a new invention came along, the electric starter. And just like that, the single biggest, most annoying, most dangerous thing about gasoline cars, that awful hand crank, was gone. The electric car's huge advantage in being easy to use vanished overnight.
So now you have a gasoline car that's way cheaper, can go way farther, and is just as easy to start. It was the perfect machine for the new age of road trips. The electric car, the one-time king, just couldn't keep up. By the 1930s, those hummingbirds had all gone silent.
So, why are we telling you this old story? What's the point? Well, it's because the exact same problems that killed the electric car 100 years ago sound an awful lot like the problems we're talking about today.
This is where history really starts to echo. Back in 1910, the big killers for EVs were limited range, no charging in the countryside, and they cost too much. Fast forward to today, what are the big 3 hurdles for electric cars? Range anxiety, the need for a massive charging infrastructure, and getting the price down. It is literally the same fight, just a century later.
And that really gets to the heart of it. The first electric car didn't fail because it was bad technology. It wasn't. For what it was designed for, city driving, it was actually the better technology. It failed because the world changed. The culture shifted, people wanted to go on long-distance adventures, and the EV just wasn't ready for that world, yet.
So what this whole story teaches us is that the best tech doesn't always win. It's about timing, it's about infrastructure, and it's about what we as a culture decide is important. 100 years ago, we chose the freedom of the open road over the clean, quiet convenience of the electric car. Now, here we are at a very similar crossroads. The only question is, what are we going to choose this time?